In this episode, we're going to talk about something that is insanely easy to do in order to promote yourself, and very effective, but so many people don't do it. I know that most of you want to always be thought of as filmmakers, and that's great, but when you're attending film festivals and other such events, it's important to think like a business person. I have lost count of how many times I've gone to these events, talked to a lot of people, been interested in their projects, and asked them for their card. I ask them this because I want to have something that I can look up later, and I'm usually met with blank stares or fumbled excuses about how they don't have one or they haven't gotten around to getting them yet, but here's the name of their film, and I'm going to remember that. I have learned to always keep myself armed with business cards. It's not uncommon for me to bring stacks of 3 or 4 different cards depending on the different types of projects that I promote. Whether it's my film, or the services that I provide, or my production company, or a film festival that I'm involved with, I always have cards with me, and I hand them out like Halloween candy. Now, I understand that the younger generations have figured that their phones are their lives and everything can be put in there. I've been told repeatedly while at these festivals, hey, just give me your number. Okay, I'll give you my number, along with 100 other people. And you know what happens? Maybe a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, or even maybe a couple hours, somebody's going to look at their phone and wonder who the heck I am, along with 100 other people who have just given their names and numbers. There's nothing to connect them with their project to spark a memory. There's no face, there's no movie title, there's not even a job description. It is simply a name and a number in a sea of 100 names and numbers. And it's probably going to end up being unused and then eventually deleted. Some of these events are huge. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to be best buddies with some people at the bar while you discuss your films and your work. You're all going to be proud and talking about your projects, and you're all going to want to get together because everybody's so cool. But there's only one way that that can happen, and that's if they remember who you are the next morning. With a business card, they have something physical that they can hold in their hand, immediately link your name and your project to a way to get a hold of you. Normally what happens when people leave these events is they go home, they empty their pockets, they're going to find your card. They might throw it on their desk, they might throw it on their dresser, they might pin it to a corkboard. Regardless, they remember that they got your card because they wanted to look you up later. And 9 times out of 10, they will eventually get around to doing that, because they've got a constant reminder right there on how to see your work. So, even though business cards have been around for hundreds of years and they may seem very archaic, they still work. So, cell phones are great, but why reinvent the wheel? I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Unconnected Filmmaker, and if you found this information useful and want to be notified when the next video premieres, just hit that subscribe button. Or if you have anything you'd like to see an episode on, feel free to comment below. See you next time, and keep those cameras rolling.